Hi guys, I'm here again to do a review on episode 9 and 10 on Lovely Love Lie. As a disclaimer, as always, there's major spoiler alerts on this video about episode 9 and 10, so please do not watch this unless you've seen those two episodes. And also, excuse my Korean, as always. So, we ended episode 8 with Sorim and Hangul pretty much like not breaking apart, but like Hangul explaining why he doesn't like girls or dating girls that sing, kind of mixing work with pleasure, kind of deal. If you haven't seen the end of that episode, please go watch that and then come back to this to make it a little bit more make sense. So pretty much we get into Sodium crying in Chanyoung's arms because of their little argument. I kind of wanted to see in this episode a little bit more of their relationship and see maybe it developing. However, unfortunately, that is not the case, which I'll get more into detail throughout the video. So, in this video, Yuna wants Hangul to produce her new song, which, if you know from my previous video, or previous videos, I'm not a very big fan of Yuna. So she's very trying to persuade him, Hangul, to produce her song, which he's said multiple times that he doesn't want to. However, since Sorim pretty much says that she doesn't want to sing Hangul's song because she promised Chanyeong to work with him, he's kind of disheartened, so he's more persuaded to do the song, even though he shouldn't. Um, so we'll go more into detail of that. You also see a little relationship with Hangul's dad and the president um, of the other music company, Who Entertainment, I think, and see like their weird relationship, and it goes more into detail through the episode too, how I guess the president had developed feelings for Hangul's dad like long ago, and then obviously Hangul's dad got married to Hangul's mom, and then they had a family and stuff. But kind of goes into detail of that. It's kind of strange. I guess that's kind of why President kind of favors Hangul sometimes in the episodes. If you notice their weird relationship. But it's kind of crazy to see that she has like a soft side, because if you've seen the episodes, you see that she is really rough exterior and stuff like that. So in this episode, going back to Yuna, she really wants the song that Hangul wrote for Sorim. It was supposed to be on Mushin Ko's debut album, but instead the CEO decided not to take it out, and then also sent the song to Yuna to listen to. And in the scene where Sorim and Yuna interact with each other, she's like, "Oh, well, Hangul's gonna produce my song. Do you want to hear it?" And obviously, intentionally trying to show that, oh, it's the song that Hangul wrote for you. So I hate her character for that. Like, I mean, I get it, but at the same time, like, rude. Why would you do that? Like, she obviously still has maybe feelings for Hangul. I don't know if it's jealousy of that relationship or because her voice is really good and she's like a new, like, star kind of thing that also could kind of play into it. So, I don't like how she kind of plays with her and her feelings, which, I mean, it's kind of rude in general. Um, but I really want to know why it had to be that song, like, specifically. Maybe because it was directed at her, and she knows that Hangul did write a song about Yuna, like in the past, the first song that he wrote, in the series. I don't know. Maybe she's jealous because of that. Who knows? So when they're practicing Mushinko, Chanyeong is like very much into producing them, and also obviously taking care of Sodium and maybe developing a relationship there. So I thought it was really cute how he's taking care of them. Obviously, in part of the episode too, you can see the jealousy and like between both Hangul and Sodium to each other, because Sodium's jealous of Yuna for working with Hangul on her song, and Hangul is jealous of Chanyeong because he's working with Sodium. Um, so you see that kind of dynamic too in the episode, and also they also go on all together. Mushroom Co, Yuna, Chanyeong, and Hangul go on like this really awkward lunch where like obviously like Sodium and Hangul have this argument about not being together and stuff like that, and then like obviously the two guys producing the girls. So it was really awkward conversation, but funny at the same time. Them treating the producers together, or treating the producers like really well for each other. So also kind of showed the relationship of Yuna and him, how she kind of did pay attention to his mannerisms and how like when he would produce songs he wouldn't eat and stuff like that. So it she was kind of showing off to Sodium like their type of relationship, which rude thing to do. Obviously backstabbing, very manipulative kind of thing to do. So that was a little rude, but also in the scene where they all have lunch together, Sodium comes out of the bathroom and Yuna obviously intercepts her. And they talk about the song and everything like that, and how Sodium should let Yuna sing that song because songs get old, and she doesn't. And she's pretty much warning her, saying like, "Oh, if you don't let me sing the song, then Hangul's efforts in the song will go to waste." And obviously, because she cares for Hangul, she would think about that and want it better in his interest to possibly give her the song. And then in this episode too, Sejong, if you don't know her, she's like the classmate of Sodium and her friends, who I also do not like. She obviously is dating Sodium's friend, just for the mere gain to get close to Chanyeong, or in the hopes of. And I just can't stand her. In the episode, if you didn't know, in the last episode, she stole Sodium's friend's phone and kind of hacked it, so that she could be there to intercept when Chanyeong was with them and like get to know him and everything like that. So she finally like uses that hacking skills and sees that they were meeting up and stuff. With Chanyeong for lunch and everything. So she goes to the music building to try to see him, obviously because of security reasons and also because they're pop stars and stuff. She couldn't get in. And it also kind of shows like her lying. She's kind of tripping up on her lies now, because when Sodium's friend, says like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, I heard you were hanging out with Chanyeong." And he's like, "What do you mean? I never told you that." And she's like, "Yeah, no, you did." She's kind of like tripping up on her lies now, which I guess is good because I hope that in the end his Sodium's friend like catches on and decides to dump her. So finally, and then outside of the building, Sodium and Hangul are talking, which also she took a picture of them two together. Obviously, she didn't know that that's producer K of Creek Play, but taking it more as like scandal reasons also. That's one of the reasons why I don't like her. She kind of causes trouble with them, and I'll go more into that, more of my theory into that in a little bit too. So Sodium pretty much tells Hangul it's okay, you can give Yuna the song even though she really doesn't want to, but more for his interest, so that his song doesn't, go bad, quote unquote, because of overtime and stuff like that. So he obviously thinks about it. In the end, he writes another song. If you look into the rest of the episode, he writes a song and has a completely different title to the song. um, so more into my theory of Sejong. So Lush and Co was supposed to do a like surprise commercial slash mini performance at their school with Chanyeong as their bass player, and it was supposed to be a huge surprise. They weren't supposed to tell anyone. They weren't supposed to tell their mothers, but obviously because the three texted each other and also Sejong hacked the phone, she saw the conversation. So my theory, and obviously they didn't really go into that, is that she saw that, she spread the word, and then therefore the news heard about it and stuff like that, and they kind of got in a little trouble because of that. Obviously they didn't go into detail about that, but that is my theory. I want to see if that's your theory as well. So they do their little performance. And then when in one of the next parts of the show, Hangul tries to make up with the rest of his bandmates, and Shihyun is pretty much like one of his like best friends. I would assume in the group between the four of them. Obviously, he makes up with the other two, and then they still need still needs to make up with Shin Hyun. So they try to make up. Shi Hyun blames himself, obviously, for the situation, and doesn't understand why Hangul has to be a part of it. Blah blah blah. But then they kind of go in more detail about their relationship as a band, and saying like, "What? Well, you're the one that left this band," and stuff like that. And it kind of goes more into detail of like why Hangul really wants to tell them that the reason why he left and why he wanted to produce even though he really didn't want to, because he wanted his friends to end up being popular, because that's what they wanted to do obviously in the beginning when they started their band. So kind of like I like it that this scene because it shows like his struggle to try to help his friends out, but also try to still be friends with them, kind of thing. But then obviously Mushinko comes in when they're having this fight. Hangul leaves and Sorim goes after him. Which this part of the scene, I was like, no, why? Like, I really wanted you guys to have a break from each other. Maybe like, I don't know, just so she could develop feelings for Chanyeong, because that's how it's supposed to be. They're supposed to develop feelings for the other person. But obviously this drama is a little different. I mean, it does show a little bit how naive she is, and how young she is because of how she's treating the relationship. Because even though he hurts her a lot, she still comes back to him. Which also we'll go more in detail about it in a minute too. So she goes, and then obviously that's when he obviously still has feelings for her, and he kind of almost blurts it out again, but he wants to keep it in because he wants to ultimately protect her from him and how his and the industry and stuff like that, the roughness of it. So he wanted to say more about his feelings and stuff like that, but ended up not so and leaving. So when the CEO finally realized that they have these anti fans, so called, exposing like them and their surprise concert, the CEO decides to have a little meeting or like dinner thing with Sorim, pretty much kind of like warning her, saying like, I don't want you to see Hangul, you shouldn't do that right now. Well, obviously more for his reasoning, not for her and her debut or anything like that. But more so he can control Hangul more, I think. And also Sorim in the industry. I mean, there's moments where you think the CEO is okay, and then there's moments where you're like, he's evil. Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't know. So when she gets upset, or Sonim gets upset, she automatically calls Hangul about it. And even though like he keeps telling her like, no, I don't want to see you again, kind of thing, he still goes and sees her. So I mean, obviously, like he still likes her. So why does he keep hurting her? I don't understand. So they talk about that, and that's when he pretty much again upsets her, saying like, "Well, I already gave the song to Yuna and everything like that," and kind of they part ways, which is kind of annoying. I don't understand it why he does that, like why he intentionally hurts her. But again, it'll go more into detail. I'll go more into detail of that in the next episode. So then, in the next scene, Hangul and Yuna start working on her album or her song, I guess. And but eventually we realized that Yuna didn't get the song that she wanted. Hangul created a new song for her instead, and it wasn't the song at all, even though Yuna really wanted that song. And then Sorim realizes it talking to the other staff members because of the fact that Yuna's song was a ballad and the title and everything like that. She realizes that's not the song that Hangul made for her. So she finally listens to the song. At this point, she hadn't listened to the song at all because she didn't want to like it to persuade her, saying like, "Oh no, I need to sing this song." So she finally listens to the song and finally hears like his words within the song and how he will wait for her and everything like that. And that's when she runs to his bar performance place and bumps into Hangul's dad, which she's already met before. They sang together doing busking. Live performances. I don't really know how to explain them. They realize they have the mutual person of Hangul, his son, and obviously her love interest. And they talk to each other. Their dynamic with each other is really cute, I think. And they talk about each other, talk to each other and stuff like that. So the next day, when Yuna does her recording and Mush and Co does their mini performance, Hangul's dad calls Hangul saying like, "Hey, I know Sorin pretty much. She says that you're a liar, but you don't lie because you want to. You lie for a purpose. But no one else knows it but her. That you're lying not to hurt someone. You're lying for a different reason." So that kind of clicks in his head, saying like, "Oh, and also that also kind of clicks in the episode, saying like, okay, that's probably why he keeps like hurting her. He's lying to her because he doesn't want to hurt her in the end. So he kind of has a decision to make because obviously he needs to record Yuna's song if he wants to go to the performance of Mush and Co. Which, surprise, surprise, he does, obviously. So the showcase is really cute. Chanyeong performs with them. Sejong sees Chanyeong, obviously. And then Hangul appears right before she sings. Of course, it's right before she sings. So she sings and stuff. She sees him. The performance is over. She chases after him. And that's when, at the end of episode 9, he pretty much proclaims, finally, that he likes her. Which, yay! So that's the end of episode 9. Now we're going to go into episode 10. And after I explained a little bit about episode 10, what I'm going to do is just like do pretty much like my feelings about episode 9 and 10 together. So episode 10, obviously, it goes into him saying that he likes her. And then it's really cute. They're like holding hands while walking, and then when he walks her to their like celebration dinner, so it's really cute. Just like the playfulness of each other, which I mean shows in and out of all the other episodes, but more so now because now he has proclaimed he likes her. So also in the scene, when he's walking her, the Soyun, who's I guess kind of the manager, I guess, of Mush and Co, sees that they're together and obviously is like, what's going on there, kind of thing. So, but they kind of made an agreement, Sorim and Hangul, to kind of like hide their quote unquote relationship because of the CEO and like everyone, her debuting and everything like that. So, they kind of made an agreement to hide that. And he pretty much saying like, I won't make you wait anymore, and this time I'll be good to you, which In this episode, he actually does, so that's really good. The whole conversation with them with that, it was really cute and kind of like, I don't know, it was really playful because obviously he's older, he's had relationships. She's a high schooler. I doesn't go into detail about her relationships with anyone, but just like it kind of shows a little bit more of his softer side, which I find really funny because he literally starts acting like a high schooler. Um, so they're working hard from their debut because they finally debuted. And like their relationship's trying to develop, but like she's busy debuting, he's waiting on her, which finally is kind of like the opposite now because before like she'd be waiting on him and stuff like that. So now he's finally waiting on her. It's really cute. They're like how they try to contact each other and everything like that, but obviously she's busy and he's just waiting around. So they text each other on one of her long days or whatever, and like she says like, "Oh, I miss you," and then he actually like at 3 o'clock in the morning runs to her house and like tries to see her, and pretty much they plan their little date that they're gonna go on. The date was quite funny if you saw this scene. So she's really excited to go on this date with Chan Young. But then Seyun realizes that they're seeing each other, or they're going to see each other for their date when they have their time off. Sorry. And so he kind of warns Hangul, like, look, you guys already kind of had a scandal. Someone posted a picture of you two. You just need to be really careful about that. So in this scene, Hangul kind of tries to hide Sodium with a hat and mask and like this hoodie. But obviously, Sodium's like, this is not a date. Like, you're not even like pretty much like talking to me and like flirting with me pretty much. He tries to feed her ice cream and then realizes, oh, there's a lot of people looking, so that like backfired. When they go to the movies, he picks seats that are like way apart from each other, and she's like, "What are you doing? Like this is not a date. I'm leaving or whatever." And then and he doesn't even stop her from leaving, so she that obviously upset her. And then he finally realizes that he messed up, calls her back, and rented out a whole movie theater, well, theater room, and buys them each other a couple of shoes, which is cute in a way because it's like a couple rings but shoes. Um, so I thought that was kind of cute. Um, and like they'll hold each other's hands in the movies. Like, I mean, obviously he's trying this time. So that was really cute. It kind of shows the development of their like relationship there. Um, and also in the next part of the episode, Sejong finally, or Gyusun, which is Sodium's friend who's dating Sejong, he finally changes his phone number. I forgot to tell you in episode 9, because partly because of Chan Young's jealousy of Sodium's phone case because it's a matching phone case with Sodium and Hangul. He buys them phones. And with that, he told them that you guys really should change your phone numbers too. Which I mean, in retrospect, was good because then they get weird phone like messages and stuff. Which also is good because in this case, Gyoson finally changes his phone number, and then therefore Sejong can't hack into his phone anymore because it's a different phone, it's a different phone number, so she can't see where they're going and like talking about and stuff, and also creating scandals and stuff. So he changes his number. She confronts him about it because she's like freaking out, like, no, I can't like find out what they're doing and like when I can see Chan Yong and stuff like that. So she calls him out and kind of does the repeat of how she got his phone last time, where he leaves his phone on the table and she takes it and puts it in her bag, thinking that, okay, this will happen again. I can steal it and say like, oh, I accidentally took your phone. But this time, Gyoson saw her take the phone and was like, can I have my phone back? So I think he may have an inkling that she's no good, which is good because she is a no good. Um, and so hopefully in the next episode or so, they break up and he finds someone else because I mean that's just wrong. So she's kind of losing her sneakiness a little bit. In this episode too, it kind of shows the debut of Mushroom Co. not doing so well. I mean, they're top 12 of the new artists, which obviously doesn't list like how many new artists that came out that week or whatever. And Yuna also, her song being number one in the charts. So, it shows like obviously Chanyeong's song might not be the best, and Hangul how his song is. Kind of shows that dynamic of it. Um, Also, in this episode, it kind of goes more into the relationship, the president and Hangul's dad a little bit. How she's kind of looking out for him, and he's kind of there. And how I'm not going to go a lot into detail about it because there's not much to say, but I thought it was interesting how he fixed her shoe, and it kind of was taking the president aback a little bit. I don't know. She kind of showed a little bit of her softer side. Like I said, when it comes to those two, she shows a different like aura in the show instead of being the mean person. And then after Yuna's song became number one, Hangul called Sorim like to just like pretty much like see if she congratulates him. Obviously, Sorim is happy for him, but at the same time, because he's working with his ex girlfriend, she's kind of just like, well, I don't know if I should congratulate you or not. And then they kind of do the little argument about like how Hangul is jealous of her working with Chanyeong, but obviously it's a little different. Granted, she doesn't know that Chanyeong likes her. I don't know if either of them know. But she pretty much goes and saying, well, you're working with your ex-girlfriend. I'm working with someone like in the industry. So it's a little different jealousies, I guess. But then Yuna kind of confronts Sodium again about her song and everything like that. And when they were having their conversation, it kind of shows like Yuna's jealousy of her relationship with Hangul, like indirectly. She asked Sodium like if she was jealous that she was working with Hangul because obviously Hangul is the number one producer in their company, and she's like and like how her song was number one and her and their group Mushroom Co's wasn't. And I like how Sodium phrases this, but like how she said she was jealous that she worked with Hangul, but not because of the song. And how she loves the song, which is great because Chanyeong happened to eavesdrop on their conversation, and that kind of makes him feel better because he thinks it's because he's the producer, it's his fault that they're not like up there in the charts because of his song. So I thought that was kind of like nice of her. Obviously, she actually meant it, like it was very sincere. And with that, Chanyeong like very is like grateful for it. So that's when they pretty much go on their MT, which is like their I don't like a little vacation, and with Crude Play. And I thought that was funny how Crude Play was like, so you invited them to an MT, but never us, blah blah blah. And then obviously they invite Hangul. He kind of puts up a fight about it, but then realizes when Mushroom Co. and Sodium were gonna be a part of it, he's like ecstatic. So they go on a vacation together. But before they go on a vacation, Hangul and his dad have this little like conversation. How like so his dad was texting Sodium, and he's like, "Oh, who are you texting?" And come to find out it's Sodium, and he's like, "Why are you texting like a teenager?" and blah blah blah. And it kind of shows their little relationship with each other, which I guess is getting better because in the previous one they had like a little argument about the past and everything like that, and his mom But I like the little snippet of him and his dad, and showed like their relationship going like well. So they Crude Play and Mush & Co. and the managers go to the beach for their little vacation thing. Um, they do this little, like, it's kind of like dodgeball with two people. Um, Obviously, Chanyeong and Hangul wanted to pair up with Sorim, but that didn't happen. She ended up being partners with Gyosun, and so they do a little dodgeball game thing where the losers have to cook and do clean the dishes and stuff like that. So when they were doing this, Sodium had the ball, and she had to attack Hangul and Chanyeong, who were partners. And I don't know if you guys saw it too, but she was a little creepy when she was like throwing the ball. I don't know if that was like supposed to be a thing, but it's a little weird, and like, I don't know, exorcist kind of, I don't know, it was just weird. But obviously they lost, so they had to cook and clean. Sodium and him and Hangul had kind of like this little moment while they're preparing the food, where he asks her to like meet him at the beach at night so they can have their like little romantic getaway when everyone's asleep. Chanyeong kind of like eavesdrops again, um, and sees that they're together and like planning something like weird. So obviously he gets like suspicious about them too. So they have dinner. When Chanyeong realizes they're trying to like see each other secretly, he gets him drunk. Which, if you didn't know, he gets very lightweight drinker. So he like drinks and then he's gone. So they're texting each other secretly, saying, Sodium's like, "You promise you're going to the beach, right? Don't forget." He's like, "Don't worry, I'll try to get to you alive." She's like, "What are you talking about, alive?" So he gets completely wasted from his one drink, and he can't go to the beach. And Sodium's like, "What an idiot," is pretty much what she said. Um, Also, when they're drinking, Shihyun and Suyeon kind of show like their weirdly playful relationship kind of thing, where she had to end up drinking, and he's like, "Oh, I'll volunteer and drink for her," and then she ends up drinking instead. But like, I don't know. During the MT, it kind of like shows their weird relationship, because obviously they like each other, but aren't. I don't know if they're like secretly dating. Who knows? Hopefully they go in more into detail about that throughout the episodes. But it shows their little like relationship and stuff like that. Um, so pretty much, um, Hangul doesn't go to the beach at the end. And then Chanyeong kind of intercepts. Like, it's bad because it kind of shows like he's kind of a bad guy, but not like, obviously he likes Sorim, and doesn't want Hangul to like take her, but he doesn't go about it the right way. I don't know. But they kind of see each other, and they're like the little sparklers and stuff like that. Um, and they have their little moment. I just feel bad for Chanyeong sometimes, and more so because so the next day, um, Hangul texts Sorim to meet her outside because early in the morning, because obviously they didn't have their little date um, at the beach at night. So they meet each other. They do like this cute, like, them riding the bike, him pedaling and her sitting in the back. Chanyeong sees them and kind of is a little heartbroken about it. That's, like I said, I do feel bad for him because he sees that and he likes her, but he's not doing anything like direct about it. I don't know. Maybe in the next few episodes he will, hopefully. So they do the little bike scene. He sings for her. Um, his heart rate's like really fast, so she's like, "No, that's too fast." And he's like, "What's too fast?" And then she's like, "Oh, your heartbeat." And he's like, "Well, obviously my heart beats fast because I'm with someone that I like." And then they finally kiss in this episode, instead of the whole like, oh, fake kisses that they've had before. But yeah, so that's pretty much the end of episode 10. And then in the previews for episode 11, it shows Chanyeong and Sodium having a little scandal about each other, and therefore the CEO not wanting Hangul and Chanyeong to be with Sodium at all, like to see her because of these issues. And also, it kind of goes into detail at the end of it too, or end of the preview, that Sodium's grandma is in the hospital. So we'll see, hopefully, what that interns in the episode. So that's the end of episode 10. So from episode 9 and 10, pretty much, it shows that Hangul is finally like showing his feelings towards Sodium. Obviously, now that they're not officially together, I like their little relationship now, because it's grown a little bit. Obviously, like I said, I kind of wish they had a little break from each other just so I can see the relationship with her and Chanyeong. Hopefully, I don't know, it goes more into detail later on in the other episodes. We'll see. The relationship with Hangul's dad and the president's a little interesting because they obviously had something in the past. It showed the president liking Hangul's dad, and obviously still having feelings for him. And Hangul does go more into detail about it when they have their little talk about why his dad's still there, and possibly him liking the president. I don't know. We'll see. Also, which I didn't go into, showing the CEO kind of going into his like evil state, I guess I could call it, and trying to get Chanyeong's dad into their recording stuff. I don't really know. Obviously, it doesn't really go into detail about that, but him pretty much trying to steal Hangul's dad to their company, just how the president is trying to steal Sodium and her company. He's kind of doing like backstabby things, which, I mean, obviously that's the industry, I guess. I don't know. I don't like. I like him sometimes, and then I don't like him. I don't know. How do you guys feel about him? Let me know. This episode is really cute. It showed a lot about their friendships with each other, crude play with Hangul, Mushinko, and their relationship with each other, and also the relationship with like loving relationships too. So Sodium and Hangul, Chanyeong and Sodium, a little bit of Yuna and Hangul, like their past relationship, but also kind of showing a little bit of her jealousy towards Sodium, maybe just an overall aspect of being in the music industry and her being young and having a good voice / having Hangul there with her too. I really like these episodes because of the cutesiness of it and like the development of the relationships. So I can't wait to see what happens in episode 11 because of the whole scandal and grandma in the hospital kind of situation. So if you guys want to watch these episodes, watch them on dramafever.com. It's a great place to watch your Asian dramas. I'm also watching My Secret Love. My Secret Romance, and that's really good. There's only been 2 episodes that came on this week. I might do a little review recap on that, a short one. And My Strong Woman Do Bong Soon just ended. Sad day. I might do like a whole recap of that, and just like maybe my feelings on the whole series, which FYI, I liked a lot. So if you guys want to see more videos, click subscribe, and hopefully you're enjoying them as much as I am. Thanks. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.